A dermatology clinic in Gurgaon. Beautiful space. 3 treatment rooms and all equipped. The doctor had a 15 years of experience. The kind of guy that patients trust immediately. The founder then sits across from me on a Tuesday at 3 pm and then he tells me that they've spent 11 lakhs on meta ads in the last 6 months. Then I asked them, how many patients did you get? 14. And he didn't say anything after that. He just stared at the spreadsheet. 11 lakhs and 14 patients. That's about 75,500 rupees per patient that he was actually spending. And most of those patients never came back. The founder then says something that I hear in different versions almost every single day. He said, I think marketing doesn't work for clinics anymore. And that's when I knew the real problem was not marketing. The problem was that nobody ever told him what actual marketing really is. And here's what almost nobody tells you. Most of the clinics burning money on ads don't have an advertising problem. They have a positioning problem or a conversion problem or a retention problem. The ads are just the megaphone. And if nobody wants to listen, a bigger megaphone does not help, right? I audit clinic marketing operations every single day and that's literally my job. I've walked through clinics that spent 50,000 a month and booked 40 plus patients, and I've also seen clinics spend 10 times that amount and book next to nothing. The difference is almost nothing to do with the ads. The difference is upstream. Let me tell you what happened with that Gurgaon clinic. I asked the founder 3 very simple questions. The first question was, when someone in your city searches for a skin treatment, not your clinic, just the treatment, what do they search for? And he didn't know. Most clinic owners don't know that. They assume that they know. They think everyone is searching for best dermatologist near me or dermatology clinic near me. That's not what people search for at 3 in the morning when they notice a rash that they've been embarrassed about. That's not what they search for when they have acne that's destroying their confidence before their wedding. So I did what I always do. I pulled up Google Trends. I looked at search volume. I read forum discussions. I found that in a city, in a segment, the most common searches were actually about specific skin conditions and treatments. Acne treatments, pigmentation, hair loss, melasma, specific treatments. And the clinic's Instagram was posting about skincare tips and summer glow and not about the things that people were actually searching for. Not about things people actually wanted to know more about. And that was the first problem, positioning. Your positioning is where the messaging lives and your messaging is what determines whether an ads get clicks at all. The clinics had technically good ads, decent copy, good visuals, but they were talking about things nobody was looking for. The second question I asked was, when someone clicks your ad, what do they see? He said they go to our Instagram page. I always, feel in these moments a tiny bit of sadness. Instagram is not a conversion funnel, it's a gallery. People go to Instagram to see things, not to book appointments. So someone searching for acne treatments at midnight should not get to Instagram. They are anxious, they are embarrassed, they want hope. Imagine clicking on an ad at that point and then getting to Instagram with some before afters from 6 months ago. Where is the appointment booking button? Nowhere. Where is the information about how long acne treatment takes? Nowhere again. Where is the price? Nowhere. Where is the reassurance that the doctor has treated cases exactly like theirs? Nowhere. The conversion funnel was broken before the visitor even arrives, and the founder was wondering why his ads were not working. Then the third question was, how many people call your clinic, see the price and hang up without booking? There was a long silence. And then he said, I never tracked that. And that's the silent killer. That's what nobody talks about. That's the thing that costing most clinics 60, 70 or even 80% of their inbound leads. You can have perfect ads, perfect messaging, perfect positioning, but if your conversion moment, the actual moment someone decides to become a patient is broken, none of it matters. And for this clinic, the conversion moment was a single person answering the call. That person didn't have answers to even common questions. Pricing was never clear. Even the treatment timelines was not clarified to the patient. The doctor's experience with that specific condition, even that was not getting mentioned. So people booked a consultation that they didn't actually want. Then they came in maybe realized that the price was higher than they expected, or maybe the timeline was longer, or maybe the doctor was, approaching it in a different way than they hoped for, and they left. Here's what we fixed. Not the ads, not yet. We rewrote the website. We built it around the specific treatments and conditions that people were actually searching for. Each page answered the question someone would have at midnight when they're panicking about the skin or the hair. How long does the treatment take? What does it cost? How many sessions do I need? What results can I actually expect? So we built a simple, beautiful booking system. We made the friction zero. There was no inquire now forms that gets answered 2 days later. There was instant availability and instant booking. We trained the staff on 3 standard phases that did 90% of what patients wanted to know. It was not a script or some corporate nonsense. It was just more clarity both for the staff as well as the patient. Then we changed how the team talked about treatments. Instead of saying we do laser hair removal, it now became here's how we remove hair that does not come back. Isn't that powerful? And then we trained them how to give the actual mechanism, the actual timeline, the actual maintenance protocols. We changed one thing in the positioning then. We stopped being a dermatology clinic and we started being the clinic for people who want results in 3 weeks without additional downtime. And that's very different. That's a positioning statement. That's a point of view. Then and only then we touched the ads. We rewrote the ad copy to speak directly to the midnight anxiety searches. We built landing pages that matched exactly what the ad promised. We sent people to pages that closed the sale and not pages that started the sale all over again. The spend stayed the same, but the patients went from 14 a quarter to 42 per quarter. The cost per patient went down significantly, the patient quality went up, the repeat rate went up because now people were getting exactly what they expected. And here's the thing about marketing that nobody says out loud because it does not sound sophisticated enough. Marketing is not advertising. Marketing is everything the customer experiences. The moment they search for something, the moment they click, the moment they see your website, the moment they call your center and a real person answers, then the moment they walk in, the moment they sit down with the doctor, the moment they get the treatment, and the moment they leave, and finally it all ends when the moment they decide whether to tell their friends or not. All of that is marketing. Most clinics are technically competent in only one small piece, the ad itself. They're terrible at everything else. The website is an afterthought. The phone is answered by someone who doesn't even have the answers to most questions. The clinic environment communicates that we are busy instead of that we care. The follow-up is a text message 3 weeks later asking if you want to know more about the treatment, and then they wonder why marketing doesn't work. Here is what almost nobody tells you about positioning. You don't build positioning by asking yourself who your perfect customer is. You build positioning by asking what is the one thing we are better at that everyone else in the market, what people actually care about, and that we can actually deliver consistently. That Gurgaon clinic could have said we are the most experienced. There was a 15-year-old experienced doctor, and it was true. But every clinic says that, right? Or they could have said that we're the most affordable, and then they could have positioned that way and started on a price war with someone who will always be cheaper. Instead, we positioned them as the clinic that gets you result in 3 weeks without shutting your life down. That's ownable, that's specific, that's something people actually relate with and that they could deliver on, because the alternative is dramatic downtime from a more aggressive surgical treatment, and that actually bothers patients. That positioning changed how we messaged, that changed how we advertised, that changed who clicked on the ads, and that changed who called and booked, and that changed who became the followers, believers, and lifelong patients. Everything followed from positioning, and I want to tell you about another clinic. It's a different story but the same lesson. This was a hair loss clinic. Excellent technology, genuinely good outcomes. The founder was smart, but they were stuck. They were spending heavily on ads, they were booking the leads, but they were losing 30% of the leads in the follow-up process before they even showed up for the appointment. The conversion problem was very different here. It wasn't the website was good. It was the pre-appointment communication. Someone books an appointment for a hair loss treatment, then they have 3 weeks to think about it. In between, something happens, doubt comes in, embarrassment happens, there is fear that it won't work, fear that there'll be the failure case. So they cancel. Then we change the pre-appointment sequence. Instead of silence, they now got education. On day one, we told them exactly what's going to happen when they come in for the consultation. On day three, we told them what results could look like, the timeline, the phases, the patient success, the patience that was required. Then on day 7, we sent the video of a doctor explaining the specific situation. On day 10, we sent before after of someone exactly like them. And now the clinic was same, the doctor was same, the ads were same, the website was same. But 40% people were now showing up instead of just 17% showing up earlier. The no-show rate went from 30% to merely 12% because the conversion moment did not end at booking. The conversion moment lasted until the patient walked in through the door. And here's what kills me about it. The clinic didn't need better ads or more ad spends. They just needed clarity about what the actual conversion funnel was, and this is where it gets uncomfortable. Most business advice tells you to scale what's working, but if your conversion funnel is broken, scaling just makes the problem louder. You're not scaling, you are amplifying failure with a broken conversion funnel. The hard part of marketing is not advertising. The hard part is getting crystal clear on what happens after someone clicks the ads. I have a simple test I use. I like to call it the walk the funnel test. You will now take the entire customer journey from the moment someone first becomes aware of the clinic to the moment that they're sitting with the doctor, and then you ask yourself one question at each step. Would I pay for this experience? The moment you can't say yes, you have found where your marketing is actually broken. For the Gurgaon clinic, it was the website. For the hair loss clinic, it was the pre-appointment communications. For other clinics, it is majorly the call. The doctor is running 30 minutes late, the environment is chaotic, the consultation feels rushed, the patient leaves thinking that I'll figure this out on my own. All of that is marketing that is going wrong, and that is where you should immediately focus. Now let me give you something that you can actually do next Monday. Audit your positioning in 5 minutes. Ask yourself, if I had to describe what we do in one clear sentence to someone who has never even heard of us in a way that makes it immediately clear why we're the right choice, what would I say? If the answer includes words like best or most experienced or high quality, you don't have positioning, you have a description. But if the answer is something specific and defensible and ownable, something like we get you clear skin in 3 weeks without downtime, or we restore hair that actually feels like your natural hair, then you have positioning, and that one sentence could be the foundation of everything. Your website taglines, your Instagram bios, what your staff says when they answer the phone the first time, what the consultation begins with, everything should flow from that one particular positioning sentence. The second thing you can do next week is you can spend an hour on your competitor's website. Not to copy them, but to understand what they're promising, and then ask yourself, are we promising something different? Are we promising something better? Are we promising something the customer actually cares about more? Most clinics never do this. They assume that they know that they're better at it, but assumptions are usually wrong. You know what you'll probably find? Everyone is saying almost the same thing. Best doctor, latest technology, great results. Which means the winner is not the clinic with the best doctor or the latest technology. The winner is the clinic whose customers trust them, and trust comes from specificity. It comes from clarity. It comes from someone saying that this is exactly what I need, and then you saying back, yes, we do this better than anyone else, and we have immaculate proof to prove it. Now here's the contrarian take that everyone will hate. Everyone tells you to build a brand, right? Be authentic, tell your story, create a community, right? Building a brand is advice from 2015. In 2026, you should not be building a brand, you should be building a trust asset. A brand is something people know about, it's reputation, it's goodwill, yes, it's important. But a trust asset is something that people believe in. It's the thing that makes someone think that I know what I'm gonna get here, and I know it's gonna be 10 times worth more than the price. Now, Mamaearth didn't become big because it built a brand. Mamaearth became big because it built trust assets around natural skincare that actually works. That's different from building a brand. The difference is that a trust asset is defensible. It's specific. It's the thing you do better than anyone else, and it's the thing people care about the most. A brand is easy to copy, but a trust asset is not. And here's the final thing I want you to understand. The Gurgaon clinic didn't have a marketing problem. The Gurgaon clinic had a sales system problem. The system was broken at 3 points: positioning, conversion, and messaging. The ads were fine, but the ads were the only thing that the founder was looking at. Because ads are visible, ads have a number, ads are easy to blame. What's invisible is the decision making process. The moment someone lands on your website and decides whether you are worth the risk or not, the moment someone calls and decides whether you know what you're talking about, whether the moment someone sits across the doctor and decides whether they believe in that treatment or not. And that's what marketing actually is, and that's when clinics actually win or lose. And it has nothing to do whether your ad has the right photo or the right copy. So here is what I want to leave you with. If you're a clinic owner and you feel like your marketing is not working, don't blame just the ads. Don't increase the ad spends. Do this instead. Step 1. Get crystal clear on your positioning. The one thing that you do better than anyone else in the market that people actually care about. Write it down in one sentence. Step 2. Map your entire customer journey. From search to booking to consultation to treatment to follow-up to referral. And at each step, ask yourself, is this clear? Is this building trust? Or is this losing me patience? Then step 3, fix all of these before you scale any campaigns. Because scaling a broken system just burns money faster. The clinics that grow are not the clinics with the best ads. The clinics that grow are the clinics with the cleanest positioning and the smoothest conversion funnel. Everything else is just noise. I hope you like this video. If you like this, share this with someone else who might find this valuable. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I'm gonna see you in the next one.